everybody. So I guess I had set it for 3 o'clock, which that was just habit. It's supposed to be 3:30.
Yeah, on Saturday it's 3:30. I said 3:30 the other day, but you know, hey, this is just what? This is our 3rd time.
Yeah,
we should get it by 10 or 11.
But hey, I think are we 1080? We should be
1080.
I think I got those settings figured out.
What does that mean? 1080.
Mm-hmm. HD.
HD. There we go. High def.
See, she knew what that was.
I do know the word.
I'm going to turn this light on.
Okay, now y'all, I know this is a day that we're supposed to be doing extensive thoughting, but the thoughting is going to be related to the binder. The binder's going to relate it to the art. Mm-hmm. I was so, I just went over to,
just remember, the Ka is sort of a spin-off of everything that's PM Artist Studio, and I can't contain her. So there's going to be...
I just need to say, it is all related, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot clip out this little part and put it over here and keep it separate, because they're just going to do this. Not this, this. Okie dokie. Now.
Would you like me to say hello to everybody? Or are we doing that?
I want you to say hello to everybody.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's do this. Participants. We've got a seminal mind. That's Sue. Brad's here. Cookie Wookie. She's Mo.
No, is that Sue Mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I was so inspired by your little cards. I made my own little cards. They're not near as cool as yours.
Darcy's here. Eddie, Graham, Jesse, Panka, Martha. Let's see. Graham, Jesse, Martha, Panka, Ricky Nordmeyer, SWL. That's Sherry. And Zal, like Hal. She is our pal. If I missed you, wasn't on purpose. Ann Webb's here. Hello, Ann.
Hi, Ann Webb.
I know there are a few more folks here. Hey,
is Dennis watching?
Is Dennis watching? Thumbsy upsies, y'all. Remember,
gosh, he can probably have some comments.
Very important to thumbsy upsy. Hey, Cheryl. Hello, Shauna. Hello, Adrian. All right, I love it. Brad was like, I think you set it for 3 and people are waiting. So I'm like, yeah, we should probably, let's get that worked out.
Yeah,
sorry.
That
and then I've also, we're going to be talking about both inequity and iniquity.
Iniquity.
See,
both.
This is why you should not make thumbnails at and set streams at 7 o'clock or whatever it was. I don't know. It was later in the day. My brain was done.
I know. You left up here after you'd done all that other stuff.
Oh my God. Y'all,
I wish you could see
I could turn
the order, the absolute order, and labeling.
See, you see the lower tier, there's one above it, but all those cases over there are the stamps. And now I have reorganized, because what happens with that is that, we have some that we kind of combine together. And we're like, all right, they do make sense together, but now we have more of those. So they have their own case too. What's so great is how P does the labeling. She'll do little dots in between. And so I can tear them apart and then just, move them around.
Yeah.
There you go. Tips and tricks over here at the Ka.
Yeah. And I have my own little case over here that I'm intent on. I'm going to do some more stamping. But here's my little booklet that I made the other day with just these weird, random. I even wrote a little thing about it in here. And
I can't go topside during this stream. I have not set that situation up. I just wanted you to know that.
Are you kidding me? I have a camera right here.
Well, I know, but then I guess I could turn off. I'll just turn off.
This is not going to work because I got things to show you topside. I got to do my arting.
See, this was not worked out prior to.
Longest thoughts today. Did I already read?
We're gonna be old school without. We're gonna be all naked without our pretties. Just us just hanging out there in the. We've done it before. It's fine.
Well, I can live with that.
I know you can. It's okay. I'm good with it.
Because I don't have to even look over there. I did a whole thing the other day without even having it on.
Yeah, and I mean, when they start to kind of grow, you got to figure it out. And we have figured out that Now, with the bigger stamps, you need the bigger containers. You just do.
Yeah, because
but the little ones, they work so well in those multi-holder container things.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. Anyway. All right. Hello, Karen. What are we doing right now? What do I need to do? Do you need to go topside right now?
Okay. Because I'm doing my arting right now.
Let me figure this out here. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read them this while you're mucking about.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I don't know when I wrote this, but it's on the back of this little piece of paper here. So.
Well, here, you know what? It's not bad because we just have the little frames around us and it's purple. I just need to make a copy of this and make us some blue ones.
That's just fine.
Okay.
I can live. Purple's a good color.
Well, I know, but
that's what happens when you have.
Our PM Artist Studio is purple.
And it is. I want to stress it. It is blue violet rather than red violet. Blue violet means there's more blue than red.
I think it's red violet.
No, we're talking about the complexion of the state of Texas.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It is blue violet. Intermediate color.
Oh, it looks like your little hedgehog's been drooling. When you look at it sideways, it's like, whoa.
I had to ground him there.
Yeah.
Okay, longish thoughts today later. But do stay tuned as we do the art. Always start with connections. Connections will be made between the thoughts and art.
Especially the resistance art. Now, I'm not letting you just regular art over here. That is unacceptable.
I'm not regular arty, no.
Only artivism here at the CAW. What are those little things there? Well, I mean, I know what it is, but what were they made of? And oh my God, that's fabulous.
Okay, now there's a story, of course.
There's a story.
I did find this too. I was digging around in my drawer because I lost my tweezers.
We have been cleaning up, sort of. And I feel like you kind of have.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I found in this drawer back
over here,
and I was my nail file. Pardon me. I knew I had a nail file over there, and I needed it. I needed a metal one because I was trying to glue down stuff, and I needed it. And I knew I had one, so I was kind of digging down underneath, and I found this little. He didn't look like this to begin with. I'll turn him over. This is what he looked like before I painted him.
I mean,
this was done at the same time as Izzy's, these little clay things that she made.
They would stay up and fart around and just make things and, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to go through that here in just a minute, but I have to talk to you about my little, and I haven't finished yet. Okay, it's on the back of a Corona beer cap, rusty beer cap. I thought that was appropriate. And I don't know, I really, I wanted him to be on fire, burning.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got to thinking, no, I think I'm going to have this kind of be down lower, and I'll make a little body for him. Mariah can help me do this, because I want him to have this bitty orange hands. And a great big old fat bum that's on fire.
Liar, pants on fire.
That's right. But hey, look at that hair wave there. Did I capture that? I mean, holy crapola.
It's super. I'm very much enjoying that.
Okay. Well, I haven't decided yet. I was going to do it like that and poke a little hole in there so that I could get that on there, but that is to be determined. Okay. Now, we're going to put this on there. I found this in my drawer, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it came from Miriam. Not sure. But this is one of the little tassels that used to be on my ottoman, which I think is now over in storage. Where's the ottoman? My pink ottoman.
Yeah, I think it.
I hope it doesn't get eaten up by moths in the storage, because boy, am I going to be.
Well, I think that we took it over there after the moth situation. I mean, not to say that there couldn't be a second rising, because let me tell you, it was quite the.
I don't even think about it. Okay, so working on this, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to attach it here to this point. Okay? But I want to talk about my cards first here because I've got this. Okay. So I was listening to something and I forgot to write down this dude's name, but he's bald. I don't know if he's bald or if he just shaves his head, but he has lots of tats and there's some really cool stuff in the background. Younger person. But he was talking about propaganda.
Bald but with a beard?
No.
Skinny dude?
He is skinny, but he doesn't have a beard. I don't think
I'm pretty sure that he has a beard. The one.
Maybe he does have a beard, but it's a really small beard. Not a, I don't know. Anyhow, he was the one that, was talking about this stuff, and I really needed to take better notes, but it was really late and I was tired and I was, yeah. So I did these are the little cards that Sue sent with earrings. Okay, so I kept these, took the earrings off. And here she is, and she's
we've been talking about getting one.
Well, propaganda. We'll talk about that.
But Izzy will drive us crazy.
And here she has a perky pearls.
You got to hold it up there and give it a side view so you can see the
perky pearls.
How perky them pearls are.
And she's going, oh no,
or juggling them.
Oh, this could be true too. I guess if they're going to be a string of pearls, I need to attach some little things in between there. Yeah, okay. Take that under consideration. Okay, so the next one is flood the zone, and then on the other side with just little pieces out with hit.
Yeah, there's an S behind there.
Yeah. And this I got off the cover of Hakeem Jeffries' stupid thing. He wants money. I'm not sending that.
Don't give Hakeem Jeffries any money.
I'm not giving him money. It's like an irresponsible 4-year-old. You don't send him to the mall with $200.
Acting right.
No. He needs to up his game. And then I've got the other little person on the other. And I really...
Hey, Lori.
I have to think what she's going to say up there in that bubble. I haven't figured that out yet.
Hasn't come to you yet.
That has not come to me yet, but it will.
I love all of this. Is this going in the box?
So, check it out.
It's so fab. Now, please explain to the folks at home the gentle critique that I had given you. You seemed a little perturbed about it yesterday, but I do think it's settled in, obviously, because you did do something. She sometimes gets a little butthurt when I'm like, hey, you should do this thing, this, or this. And then she's like, But then she walked around thinking about it. And then she was even going to take a piece off my hat. And I was like, you can take a piece off my hat. Some netting.
I did not, but I didn't put any more on. But what I did is I pulled it out, and I'm going to show you how I did that with this. And just put some.
Exactly, Eddie. Exactly.
See these little dudes? This is where I took the netting and pulled it over and attached it so that it didn't just, it was just going down.
So,
because it will when you attach things to it, because it's like gravity.
Well, and I think that, this is some stuff to keep in mind. Some assemblage folks, like, they just glue everything down, and it's like, it is where you want it to be.
Yeah, and the reason it had to be like this is because this is how I operate. I want to be able to move things about, and I love these little clippy things.
Container gardening.
It container gardening to the nth degree, because I can't tell you how many times I've moved some of this stuff around. Many, many, many times. Many times. And this one down here, and this is very integral, because right here, it is pulling this one and keeping those like that.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to figure out something to do with the sprout, because number one, I think that the black clippy takes up too much
real estate,
but I want to use these, and I definitely.
I told her we just need to pop the little sprout off of there and then weave it in, and I can help her with that.
Yeah, okay, I would go for that, because I want that. That's like,
that's where it needs to
symbolism.
go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyhow, that is what I'm doing with this right here. And I will attach that right there.
Sue's very excited about it. She says, I love the sprout. I really want it to become a resistance thing. You can sprout whatever you want. That's right.
Yes, absolutely. And I wanted to show you, what was happening here and where this was going. I don't know that there's a whole lot. Oh yeah, there is. Okay, so
you talked about that a little bit. Is that another sprout?
Getting
or is that this? Okay.
Interwoven there. I'm going to figure out some way to use that because I want that. It's important. Okay, so this is the mail that Sue sent with the stuff that she sent, and it gives it. But this is done the same time as the this little jobber.
Its previous form before getting,
Okay, so I cut out a lot of hearts. I haven't put anything
orangified
on the back of them, and you've seen the inside of that. Got some more hearts here. I might have to glue the bottom of that.
See, I think you should write some of my, like, what I write on my sticky notes. You should write on those.
Absolutely. I want to do that. What is it? Somme?
Oh, okay. So, y'all know I like Texas Paul. He brings the right energy for me. And so today, I mean, literally just, hours ago, he did a video on the whole thing happening with Iran. And he said, I don't know if y'all have ever heard this term, but this is another one of those Somme wars. I was like, Somme? And then he's like, yeah, SOWM. Now I'm going to, it's sorry, old white men making decisions about things. You can fill in the other word, though.
Yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that. Let's send them. The only thing that they can have are rocks, and we're going to send them out in the middle of the Sinai Desert with rocks. They'll decide who they're going to send.
Or kind of a, what was the book? The Kids on the Island.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, that was...
I read that, and that was one of those recommended ones. I'm like, I don't think I needed to know that right when I did. It was a little disturbing to me.
I think it was disturbing. I know what you're talking about, and it'll come to me.
Mm-hmm. Lord of the Flies, thank you, Graham.
Lord of the Flies, yes, thank you.
Y'all know that. We should play a game. Be like, that one where the hat, and then that thing happened, and then it was like that.
Yeah.
That guy with the hair.
And somebody died.
Yeah.
Yeah. This rock is, I think it's very symbolic because number one is it's very heavy. And it's a conglomerate. It has lots of different rocks in there. And I think this is...
Hold it into the big camera. You got the top. There you go. That's the one people want to see it in. That is a fabulous rock.
I think it is a fabulous rock.
You need a picture of that rock in your box.
I do. So when we take a picture of Izzy with the concrete, she can hold the rock also. Okay. Because she likes her rocks also. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you. I'm hoping to have it all finished.
That day is the last day of February, but that's all right.
Because tomorrow, I'm probably not going to get to do anything because tomorrow's going to be just... But now see, look at how beautiful that is.
Well, that's not true. I'm going to get through the stuff pretty quick. We don't have a ton of new things. It's a fair amount, as it always is, but I think this is one of the lighter months we've had in a while. Let me just say it that way. Ooh. Also, I know, again, we're not on PM Artist Studio, but if y'all haven't been over there to check out some of the updates on the website, would love it if you'd check it out. Got some cool things. We'll talk about it more for sure tomorrow. And then we're going to be pulling together IMPPs today, and we're going to be pulling together the giveaways. So I will at least be able to tell y'all, all right, this is how many giveaways we're going to have. We're going to do that on P's birthday during our March Mixed Media Madness. That's over on PM Artist Studio.
Madness. Okay, so I do need some. Here, look what I have right here.
Sue.
Fascism always fails. You will be held accountable.
That's my handwriting. That
is Mariah's handwriting. Now, I wrote this down because Sue has this on.
Look, they force you to make you do what the deciders want you to do. I don't remember what I was watching, but I liked that. I thought it was hilarious that they said deciders.
Deciders.
That's some kind of funny.
Okay, so we're going to get around to iniquity here in just a moment. I'm putting this over here. It says, it is no longer about whether Trump has any decency, but if we do.
And y'all a lot of people, there was an article in the Atlantic. I think this is what we're settling on. Like, it is a, because you've got to understand what is it that we're all, you okay?
Yeah.
Kind of had like a little.
No, I have an itch over there. I hope I'm not starting to get the, because it's kind of that creepy feeling. I don't want to do that. Okay, you can take me off top side.
Oh, we're going face side again? Okay, we're going to caw.
We're cawing.
There we go.
And I don't know why this is up there in the middle of everything.
I will make us some blue boxes so we can go top side and have blue boxes.
Okay, you don't
care.
That.
I know you don't care.
Blue boxes. All right, so here we are. The book that I really want you, and you can probably, I'm pretty sure, because its publication date is 2002.
And I haven't put any of these links down below because I wasn't sure.
It is 2002. And this is, I'm Tom Hartman is my new
her
person.
New dude. She really likes him.
I really like Mariah. Does not like him. I think he's very droll.
He's like old school. Like no shade to him. My issue is that I need somebody a little more passionate.
I think
he's just a chill dude telling you things.
And let me tell you what, the dude knows a lot of things.
Fantastic.
He knows a lot of things.
He needs to have somebody in there.
Let me tell you why this is a good book. And this is what you should. I'm going to talk about iniquity. Just show your jets there, sister.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you should look for when you are deciding whether you want to read a book or not, you need to look. Number one, oh dear.
Look at that. That's an old book.
It is an old book. I can fix that. You look at the index. You look at the notes. The footnotes. And I love it in here because they're by chapter. So that you can do that. You can find out. Let's just say chapter 8. Transnational corporations. The ghost of the East India Company rise again. Unequal regulations. Tells you right here what page and where he got his information. That is important. If your book doesn't have that in it, it should be a little bit suspicious. Mm-hmm. Tom is wonderful about that. Now the other thing, and I love this, I got somebody gave this to Riata and Tom signed it. So I'm just going to say that it was, he
wanted you to have it.
He wanted me to have it. Table of contents, fabulous table of contents. I use the table of contents because I have not read the whole book. I just went through here and put some things in here that kind of went along with my whole thing with iniquity and accountability.
Yeah.
Inequality.
All those things.
Inequity. Yeah.
Spelled both ways.
See, I wrote myself a note. Here, start here, introduce the book. Published in 2002. This is a quote by Anne Frank from her diary.
Oh, good gosh.
It's really a wonder that we haven't dropped all my, I haven't dropped all my ideals because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe people are really good at heart.
I have those thoughts often.
I want to talk about this because I think this is something that we need to focus on.
This is the decency thing.
This is the decency thing. This is what you said earlier today, Mariah, and I told you it was going to go right along here. And then here, we talk about this, and I even have that quote about belief gets in the way of learning. But intentions and culture, and I think this is also what we're talking about here. A culture is a collection of shared beliefs about how things are. And, you can't make it any better than that. I'm telling you this because I want you to go and buy this book or find it someplace. I got mine on Thrift Books, but I'm sure you can get it elsewhere. This book will raise questions about some of our shared beliefs. Do we want to keep this belief or change to something that works better for us?
Well, and here's, on that note, okay, so.
I knew that we'd have a note.
Yeah. I was watching, they do all these stitch-ins of these other people doing the thing and doing the thing. Okay, oh, it was Godless Gardener. Love Chad. And he was playing a clip from this one woman who was really struggling because she was a triple Trumper voter. And, but she's there at the point of, hey, I know that I've done wrong.
And I can't.
But now she's really struggling because she's not getting maybe the love and acceptance that she wants from her more liberal lefty friends or, community or whatever. But, and Chad was kind of this way too. He's like, I feel for her in the way that, because he had deconstructed from a very conservative and, from both religion and just being ultra conservative. And it is this loss of your community that is probably one of the hardest things. So it's like you may have cracks in your belief system, but because then what do you do after that? Who are you going to hang out with? Everything that you know and that you talk about, that you interact with. I mean, and over on that end of things, it is so built in. I see, like, on the lefty end, things are kind of like...
we haven't experienced that because somehow or other, for whatever reason, it's not because I'm super smart or anything, although I
just don't. I think we aren't as tribal. We aren't like, you have to have this belief system.
I've never been a clubber, a joiner.
There's more of that than anything. But then, that being said, there is this left ideology, these more liberal ideas. And we pick at each other about, not being, enough, or that you've checked all the boxes. And I think that's just us as humans. That's unfortunately kind of one of the things that we all need to work on, as far as when is it that you do accept somebody. But then this other part of it is that, it's like, we are very tolerant. But then they bring it back to you and say, well, I thought you guys were the tolerant ones. Okay. Don't take my tolerance as a weakness or as something that you can then weaponize towards me to make me then accept that you have made very bad decisions. And it's not that I'm here to say that I ain't going to bring you back in or welcome you here, but you've got work to do.
And I think I think that because if we want them to give up their old membership to whatever club that they were part of, in order to make it something that they can do, because if they rely so very much on those ties of belonging, of having a community there, if they need that so badly. And one of the reasons they won't move out of that belief system is because there's no one out there to kind of catch them as they fall.
And maybe the other thing is that, we need to get more information out there that it's like, hey, this is a journey that you are going to have. And it's kind of a lonely one for a bit. Not to say that there aren't great things at the end of it, but you've got to and this is just true of any kind of growth or self-awareness, is that you need, I do. The only reason I'm able to be the person I am is because I recognize what I am in control of.
I have a really hard time with that because sometimes
she does.
We used to have a joke, Susie and I. I've got this all figured out. If they'd just listen to me, everything would be just fine.
She operates this way.
That is how I operate. And I am not being facetious at all, because I have thought this through.
Susie clocked you.
No, we both agreed that teachers were the best candidates to run, because, we recognize all of our students.
Yeah.
Those, who aren't flatlining, but they're still there.
Yeah.
And we accommodate for them. And I think we need to go into this. This is what we The freaking people doesn't mean just this little bunch over here, this little bunch over here. It means all the people.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't say that enough, but anyway, all the people. Here's my okay, we're going to get right into
I enjoyed that.
Iniquity.
Thank you for indulging me in that conversation.
Well, I just, as soon as I read that, Mariah,
You knew it was going to...
I knew that was just going to titillate your fancy. Now, I do have some more titillations over here.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about, because we've talked about this. One of the big inequalities, inequities, not
iniquity.
Iniquities. Those are two different things. We're going to get to the inequities. But right now we're talking about
I did call
inequities.
This one inequities. So.
Inequities. Equal taxes. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is why we are where we are. And I have a little warning for those people in here. But I'm just going to read a few little,
okay,
about 10 words on each page.
Okay.
It costs money to run a government, given. And the more you want the government to do, the more it usually costs. One point to consider. How much do we want our government to do? Question number one. And another is, who should pay for it? Just let you think about that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Am I supposed to answer? Because I got answers. I just didn't know if I should pause. I got this figured out, y'all.
You just jump in wherever you think you need to, Mariah.
Okay, good gosh. All right, so I was pausing for everybody to kind of have a moment with it.
Yes.
Our government, and funded by us, we the people.
And I'll tell you how much is funded here in a little bit.
I want health care. I want education. And I want, like infrastructure. I think those are three. And I guess security. I know a lot of folks get all wound up about the security of things. I think that there should be processes and things of that sort. To me, it's almost more of an infrastructure issue. That there's...
It should be
kind of built in there. And especially with the technologies that we have today. I mean, people act like we wouldn't have the ability, and half of the stuff is probably already being done without us knowing, or we know, but we don't want to know, or, Yeah,
that. I'm pretty good at that, because I can truthfully say that I don't really know.
Yeah. So those are the things that I think that the government should do. Because in the hands of people that want to profit from those things, there is true, just at any point in time, that gives the opportunity, it becomes profit over people.
Okay. I love that how you, and really seriously, we have not talked about this. This is how we talk about things. This is how we talk about things. Okay. Let me just go back for a little bit and explain to you the whole idea of income taxes and what we needed to run the government, okay? Initially, the government first taxed the things that people wanted but didn't need, and also taxed things that people were willing to pay for, to import from abroad. We're talking about 1912.
Mm-hmm.
For example, 42% of the money that ran the federal government came from taxes on, get ready, alcohol and tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
Which were heavily marketed to and used by who? The working poor.
Yes.
So, somebody was really thinking along those lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here. Now we moved forward. We're talking, this is in 19.
That is so awesome, Ricky.
57 and then 95. The share of all property taxes paid by corporations has dropped from 45% in 1957 to 16% in 1995.
Okay, let's pause here for just a second. Again, One of the things that I think that during the 70s and 80s was kind of set in motion is this whole idea that, we need less taxes. And it was, again, this is propaganda and genius on their part that, these rich people.
I'm getting to that one in a minute.
The rich people figured out that it's like, okay, well, if we make people feel like they are involved or that, they are part of us, or of course, with the trickle down.
Oh, trickle down. Oh my gosh. Next sentence here in the book.
I haven't even read the book. I just listened to a lot of things.
I'm going to read it to you.
Okay, go ahead. Read it.
But what Mariah is saying here, I know what she's going to say here. During the first year of Reagan's administration, tax reforms. Remember those? I'll talk about more of that in a minute. General Electric actually received a tax refund. Okay, remember this?
Corporations.
Corporations, okay. I love this. Do y'all know who Jim Hightower is?
He was a football player, wasn't he?
No, Jim Hightower. He's a political columnist out of Austin.
Maybe he played football.
He was clever and he was fun to read. 41 of America's largest corporations earned $25.8 billion in profits between 1996 and 1999. 4 freaking years. And yeah, that was okay. Where's our date? Okay, 1996, 1999. Okay. According to the U.S. General Accounting Office, almost a third of all large corporation assets, at least in the assets of at least $250 million in the United States, paid no income tax whatsoever between 1989 and 1995, and we wonder why the hell. And now, in the meantime, they've been borrowing from Social Security. Social Security is scheduled to be insolvent by 2040.
I know.
And it might even be as soon as 2030. They don't know.
So, yes, this is where folks need to truly understand the taxes that need to go up are not for the regular, working class. And it really should be said this way. The working class. Those folks that work and have worked all those years and paid into a system that was built to make this happen. But because of what you just mentioned there and all of these just deals. I mean, and that's really all it is this deal to further subsidize the wealthy, which is ridiculous. If they just start paying what they need to be paying and we get the money out of the politics, amazingly, Byron, that's a funny little thing. If you know, you know. Because it'll, things will start to work out. All of a sudden, you have money to take care of the things, the infrastructure, to build different things in cities, like the CHIPS Act and all those things, and how that's been taken over or just completely dumped.
Well, and they're always bringing up the black woman in the Cadillac, the welfare queen. And when you look at this, who's the real welfare queen here? Yeah.
It's the corporations.
Yeah.
Time and time and time again.
And
so whenever they're talking about big old tax,
Yeah, here's
cuts.
Going back to where you said a while ago that there was this whole thing during the Reagan administration. In 1981, this is a nice little... The Reagan administration pushed through, and I love how they name this crap, Economic Recovery Tax Act. Kind of like the big, beautiful bill. which added to a Kennedy era, okay, we're getting the Democrats involved in this too, slashed the income tax for America's top 1% of families by over 50%.
It's transfer of wealth.
Transfer of wealth. The thing about it is, and this is what Tom says here, they need to be they need to look at history here, because this is not even healthy. This kind of stuff isn't even healthy for the wealthy.
Well, that's
because
one thing
they're going to live in this country. Are they absolutely?
Well, they're playing. Oh no! See, and that's
they're going to Mars. I get that freaking rocket ready.
No,
let's load up all those old white men on that first. Let's test out the rocket, see how far it goes with the old white man.
Listen to this. They all have bunkers all over the world.
Oh, well, good. Let's just cement their freaking door shut.
I wonder if we could have, there's enough of us or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what all they're tapping or figuring out or who's it. What's it?
Pitchfork and torches.
But it's like, all right, y'all built these things. You worked it out. Y'all go live in them. Go.
Yeah.
Just leave us alone.
Because, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, so now here, I'm going to show you why.
People are the people in the chat are for this.
Yes. All right, now let me just give you a little background information that's going to, you rich, wealthy out there, you need to be listening to this information. In 1926, okay?
Because they're all listening to this
you know what happened in 1930, right? Everybody out there knows what happened in 1930. The tax cut reduced income taxes for millionaires from 60% to 20%.
And by the way, when you say all y'all know, no, they don't know. And that's exactly why and how we ended up
where we are. Okay.
Because there's enough of them that don't know.
They don't. And see, we took civics out of the school because we needed to really stress math and science so we could go to the moon.
I got notes.
She's got notes.
The 7 Mountain Mandate.
Okay, let me finish this and then you can do that. Okay. Because I haven't finished this, and this is really important because those people that are going into the bunker, they need to listen to this crap.
Okay, y'all listen.
America's top 1% of families reaped a 75% increase in after-tax income during the 1920s. One more. From 1920 to 1929, corporate profits rose 62% and dividends rose 65%. This was right before the crash.
Do you have notes on what it is right now?
I do not have notes on.
Dang it, woman.
I'm sorry. I really wanted to do that.
Hey, if one of y'all can Google that or let me know,
that would be really freaking lovely.
Yes.
I've got my rock.
So, because we want to know. All right. Say what is it that we need?
We need to know what the taxes were before the big beautiful bill, and what the taxes are right now after the big beautiful bill.
For the average?
No, for corporations.
Okay.
Just for corporations.
Okay.
And if you wanted to throw in and see how much taxes that we are now paying to cover what's not being paid by the corporations, look that up also. I don't have that right in front of me. Tip O'Neill. You all know who Tip O'Neill? He was a Secretary of the Treasury. He was a real,
piece of work.
Reagan, I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, he says corporations should be just as tax exempt as churches and synagogues.
Bullshit.
That's what Tip said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
got some tips for Tip.
I've got unequal responsibility for crime.
All right, hold on here. 35% before the big beautiful bill is what Cheryl says.
35%.
Mm-hmm.
What? 35% for what?
I guess the taxation on, I don't know. Cheryl?
Yeah, you got to tell us.
You get a tip on.
Yeah.
Tip-o steel. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll just carry on here because I'm getting over here and I'm going to talk about, and this is since I talked about churches and synagogues.
Hey, and all right, and this kind of ties into my rant about the Seven
Yes, it
Mountain
does.
Mandate. If y'all haven't heard this and you don't know about it, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I had heard it, but it didn't really resonate. And then, Monty Mater, girl with the nails, she's done a couple of shorts on it. And I was like, all right, maybe I just need to really kind of dive into this a little deeper, understand it better. And she has some great videos, but I needed to read it and see it, like, and get a little bit more back history on it. So the Seven Mountain Mandate is a dominist evangelical ideology calling Christians to influence or take control of 7 key cultural spheres: family, religion, education, government, media, arts and entertainment, and business. Originating in 1975, the goal is to install Christian values in society, shaping culture, governance to prepare for Christ's return. So, the origins, or is attributed to this guy named Bill Bright, Campus Crusades for Christ. Some of Brad's cousins used to do all that business. Lauren Cunningham, the YWAM, and later popularized in the early 2000s. See, that's when that, like, Crew and a lot of those other,
and this is
where they were grabbing up the youth,
burning, and they were talking about Teletubbies being what did they call them?
Okay, so Graham says, all right, 35% before the big bill, beautiful bill, 21% after on his research. Okay, and then now it's down 21% from the 35%. Is what they're paying.
Well, they better get ready, because that's kind of what it was started doing over here. In I mean, it dropped a little more.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you guys for giving us that.
Thanks for looking that up.
Yeah. Hey, Sonia.
Because, yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, that I agree. Maybe 60% is too much, but 20% isn't enough. I'm sorry. It is not enough. Now, okay.
Well, no, and what it really should happen is there should be points to which, like, this is why there should not necessarily be billionaires. At what point is enough, and then should it be filtered back into society?
I don't know that we need to come up with a monetary amount, but here's what I'm saying. Goes back to your decency thing. We didn't used to think that we had to mandate that sort of thing,
right,
because people had a conscience. They just, agreed. Gosh, if I want to live in the United States of America, I really feel like I should pay my fair share.
Well, here's the thing. So I can't remember who the businessman was, or where I'm sure it was some kind of, either just like a little quick documentary thing or something like that on YouTube. But I remember the basic story of it was just extremely wealthy businessman, was ready to retire, kind of sold off the businesses and stuff. He said that at some point, I just sat down with my advisors. They said he liked his lifestyle as it was, but he didn't need the rest of that money. And so everything after that, they just set up the, different things. House is all taken care of, and insurance and all that stuff. And then everything that was after that, they donated and did charity stuff.
Here's the thing that I think gets in the way of doing that kind of thing right there. It's when the corporations become overly involved in government activities.
Yeah.
Because the power is where...
Well, and the proximity to power.
And the proximity power. That's when it all goes south.
Because I think even when it is, these corporations become these huge entities where so many people are becoming so wealthy off of it, they all have a hand. And therefore, it leaves them to their worst
self.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it does, and I don't think it's a process that just starts, one day I am and the next day I'm not. It's gradual. But that kind of eroding of the societal...
Yeah, exactly. See, Anthony is like, 90% tax on all income after you have $1 billion. Yeah.
I think
or, hey, if your company was being subsidized by the American people...
Which all of them... You find me...
When do we get payback?
Exception.
When is it that we don't get, like... What is our return on our investment? Oh, what, that you grace us with your presence and in your corporation and all the things, and you get to screw over the environment and all these other things? No, thank you. I'll just take your money.
Here's the thing.
And then that way we can clean up your crap and
pay them in tax reduction to move into a community. And then once they're there, we still just keep giving it to them.
It's crazy.
It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, now we're not talking about inequity. We're talking about inequity. INIQUITY.
I messed up on
inequity.
And I'm going to fix the...
Iniquity. Okay? You look up the word. Okay.
I did. I thought I had that all worked out, but I didn't.
And this was... I wrote this, and it was in total reaction to the all of this Epstein stuff. Sitting here thinking about what's going on in this world, how very hard it is to get a grasp on one thing, because there are so many atrocities. Yes, in the true meaning of that word. So I looked it up. Here are synonyms for that word. Abominations, enormity, outrage, monstrosity, obscenity, iniquity. Now, I looked that up. I just really focused on, because that's a word my great-grandmother used to use frequently. She was a whole lot more, I don't know.
She always had the radio on.
Well, that was Mimi. I'm talking about Grandma Anderson.
Oh, I didn't know her.
No, she was my great-grandmother. My grandmother's mother. Okay? She was a force to be reckoned with. Really, really was. And she used a den of iniquity. Wickedness. Immoral or grossly unfair behavior. Now, in the Bible, it means something very, very specific, and I looked this up. It means a deep-seated wickedness. I can't.
And when she read this to me, I said, that's what they think about the Democrats, which is hilarious to me. I just, it's just so ass backwards.
Moral crookedness, often describing the inner character or guilt of sin. A willful twisting of God's standards and resulting consequences like injustice or a hardened heart. Distinct from simple error, but closely related to sin. And it can involve a lifestyle of unrepentance. And it is more than just transgression. That's where you just backsliders. Yeah. Remember that? That was a big term, backsliders. That means you momentarily fell off the straight and narrow.
A little lapse in judgment.
Yeah, a lapse. Yeah. It can involve a lifestyle of unrepentance. Do you remember in the interview with Orange Man, and I don't know who was asking the question, but...
What did you call him the other day? The
turd with a tie.
Yeah, that one I like better.
TT.
Turd
with a tie.
That also goes to the other one.
Him, well, number one, they asked him if he could quote a favorite verse from the Bible. He could not.
Oh, and then the other day, he just flat out was like, I've never read it.
See, he's like,
but nobody cares at this point.
Stupid people anyway. I mean, we're long past the honeymoon stage. I can just tell it like it is. Anyhow, he didn't have anything that he needed to repent for. Signifies a deeper moral corruption or a lifestyle of unrighteousness.
Exactly, Eddie.
It is worse than sin, iniquity. It was a very popular word in the 1800s, but started a gradual descent in usage, bottoming out around 1960s, flatlining in the 2000s.
We're going to bring it back.
And then in 2019, it started to gain traction and a definite upturn use.
Google it. See where it's trending.
Okay, so later downstairs, I went to the bookcase in the gallery room. That's just where the non-art related books are kept downstairs.
There are many rooms with many books.
Thank God we've got books in rooms, different rooms. In case one burns down, we still got another one.
That's right.
Okay, so then I found my books by Deepak Chopra. And I found them plus another copy of Joseph Campbell's book, Pathways to Bliss, which I'm going to donate. I've got some books to donate to the...
I told her that we need to take him over to Keith Self's. He's our congressman. He's a real...
And leave him in the waiting room.
Yeah, and take him to him. Put a big old red... Actually, we should put a blue bow on it.
And the reason we had two is because when I lived in Texas and Van lived in Alaska, we would read books back and forth and talk about books. We don't do that anymore because we live here in the house, and I don't know. I really kind of miss that. Yeah. So, I'm experiencing, no, I'm talking about, this was during the writing of this.
Yeah.
I was experiencing a high level of cognitive dissonance around this Deepak thing with Epstein.
It has been, okay, and actually I'm going to pause you there, because this was like one of the other things that, I'm pretty sure it was in the Chad video, but it may have been another one of like the folks that are deconstructing and they don't understand why we're like, hey, listen, if some of these people are people that we loved and admired, but they did terrible things, they need to go to jail. We don't support them just because we were always supported. Like, that's not how this works for us. We're okay if Bill Clinton did something. And it can be proved.
And we know he was a squirrely bastard.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I just don't know how squirrely.
Yeah.
I don't think that everybody that was, hanging out with Epstein was, on the up and up. But I don't think that everybody was necessarily, doing all the things.
Yeah, and we can't say that because it takes us... Now, I have to be careful because I'm reading here.
Yeah. So, that's kind of the whole thing is that I think that, yes, as P was saying...
It's deeply disturbing.
She's very upset by the fact that somebody that she loved, admired, read, felt
Noam
deep...
Chomsky is the other one.
Felt deep connection to. Turned out to be kind of sleazeballs. And actually not just kind of, yes, and even provable, and allegations and things of that nature had surfaced prior to, and then now are being a little bit more like, oh, okay, yeah. That all made more sense now. It's sad, but we're all like, hey, this is what needs to happen.
I just, and I keep thinking this, and I keep thinking that, what we always do is we always bring it back on ourselves. Why didn't I see the signs? Why wasn't I, what was there that I just didn't see it because maybe I didn't want to see it or that sort of thing. And I think we've got to get over that too.
Well, that is definitely some, especially.
It's not my fault because Deepak Chopra was a douchebag.
100%. And this just proves that, I know where some of that comes from for you. Like, P has this real, and abuse is a crazy thing. It has ways of just sitting in there, and then you have something like that comes out, and it's and I hate that word, trigger, but it does.
It does.
And so she would kind of, it's like, and then that's why they say, like, these poor victims are getting traumatized over and over again. Because once again, you go through it of, how did I not see this? How was I, you put you in it. And it's like, no, these people are just, they're terrible. And this was nothing that you, the victim,
did. somehow or other,
bad people do bad things, and now we need to make sure that the bad people are held accountable.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. Otherwise, we will just continue this cycle of abuse and us all being traumatized and not getting on with it.
I was going to read you some things from the Chopper books, but I'm not going to.
No, don't give him any airtime.
I'm not going to give him any airtime.
F him.
I'm just going to tell you that even after I read this, because I read it to you, what he said in that first thing, it was disgusting.
I'm going to go get more water.
And the thing that really upset me when I got the book out, because I went downstairs, and the book that I'm talking about is Third Jesus, the Christ We Cannot Ignore. At the front of the book, there were 16 PhDs, clergy, Catholics, Methodist doctors, authors, all singing the praises of this book by this man who abused children. Allegedly, his name was there. The emails are open. We can't say for sure. There wasn't any absolute there, but he was there in the emails. And after reading all of this, I said, I wish this made me feel better. It doesn't. I have so many emotions, but the one deep feel that best suits the situation is how it feels when someone you have loved, admired, dies. I will grieve, and I will focus on the knowledge that I gained about myself through the reading of the books.
There you go.
And I will take more care going forward to listen harder and ask more questions and admit that I still don't understand. And that's what I have to say about iniquity. It's not something, it's not just something that we can see. It's something that must impel us to do something. Because that's, if we just sit here and we all feel bad and we, hold hands and what's his name? It's Kumbaya. I don't know the word to that, but I know the image. If that's all we're going to do in this feel-good moment, we have to do something. We have to get out there. We have to call it out when we see it and not be afraid to.
And you have, and doing something really means having that conversation with maybe somebody that you...
Yes. It might make both of you uncomfortable.
Or, just, I don't know, placing the stickers around the grocery store.
Yeah, there you go.
Placing the toothpicks with the little Trump things and the dog poop. I'm still getting a chuckle out of that.
I every time I see that,
it brings me great joy.
Other thing, joy. I have on my shirt, Eddie's shirt today.
Not just in jelly printing.
No, and I also have on. This is to remind me. Got this in Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Every time she says Las Vegas, I just want to go.
I know.
Did you get it on the strip?
Las Vegas, New Mexico, in some little hole-in-the-wall shop on...
Probably packed full of all kinds of things.
My gosh.
And had to dig through drawers to get it.
Your father had to go back out to the car.
Smoke a cigarette.
And he said that...
makes him itchy.
It smelled bad in there. I don't know. His sense of smell was terrible. I don't know. He just said that because he wanted to go smoke a cigarette and he didn't want to look at any more stuff in that place. But you guys did. You guys, I don't know. They had dinosaur bones and all kinds of... It was a weird little shop. And this is from early New Mexico.
Yeah, it's more like arts and crafts, but
It's from the 1950s, is what they told me, and you can tell it's lost some parts on it, and the back of it's all screwed up and whatever. But I've always thought it was wonderful. I am going to have to fix the clasp at some point because it is wearing out there. But right now, the only people that really seem to be actively pursuing this whole BS stuff are the people in New Mexico.
They are handling business over there. And that brings me back to, we need to, okay, once Susan Dufresne gets settled in, we need to, Anne, are you up for it? We should take a little road trip, and then us girls could go to, like, you know, meet up in Santa Fe or Albuquerque or, because where is she? She's
Las Cruces.
Okay. So that's closer to...
That's closer to Albuquerque.
Ish or something. Maybe we meet there or stay there. Or just go to Las Cruces. I don't care. It's a little further away.
Yes.
From where we're at. But...
Yeah, we can holler at Susie and...
Sister Susie.
Sister Susie lives in Los Alamos.
Let's have a girls' trip.
Yeah.
I think that sounds fun.
I think it sounds absolutely...
Poor Anthony says no boys. I don't know.
We might make exception, Anthony.
And plus, that's probably a good idea because we do want Brad to come because he's the driver.
He is. And
we like him driving.
We like him to drive because, number one, he gets there faster.
Mm-hmm. He knows where he's going.
Two, we can sit in the back and chit-chat about other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or take a nap or, you know, whatever.
And I think for the most part, he does enjoy being with us. Not always. There's not everything that he likes doing that we like doing, and vice versa.
Yes. But if we're driving somewhere, and the whole thing is even though he might not necessarily want to be involved in what we're talking about, as long as he has a laptop or something, he's very much and he can keep himself entertained.
And then maybe if Anthony and some of the other boys do want to come, maybe y'all can all chit chat about the other things that y'all do.
Ready to talk about crime?
Oh, we're moving sections of the binder or what?
Because the whole thing is, and I think this segues into this, is there some accountability to be... So far, the only accountability I've seen is from...
Okay. I got you, girl.
You got me? Okay.
So what is happening, and this is the big struggle, I think, that we all, like, forget, or this is all new to us, if that's applicable to all things, is that justice has, and always does, move slowly. Now, there have been arrests in other countries. That is a good sign. I think at some point in time, we live in a worldly community, and therefore there will be pressures from outside of the United States that hopefully will cause some inner things to become rectified. I think that if you step back, and this is why it is important to watch things like Democracy Docket and understand what Mark Elias and the people like him, what they are doing. They are winning things a lot more than they lose. But they don't hear about that. That's not big and splashy. It's like, oh, hey, remember that thing that was terrible that he did or wanted to do? By the way, we shot that down. They're not getting on television saying those things because, by the way, this is that Seven Mountains thing where they're trying to buy up all that media because they don't want you to know about those sorts of things. That's why the independent media is extremely important.
Extremely important.
Mark Elias is hooked in with the Brian Tyler Cohens and the, everybody that's doing their thing.
Yeah, the Midas touch people.
I love Zateo. Like, if you want to know really what's going on in Gaza and with Iran and everything like that, Mehdi Hassan is amazing. I love him. He's intelligent. He is so good. And I love it when he's on Piers Morgan. He eats his ass every time.
Okay, I have another one for you, and I have the books coming, so I'll be able to tell you more about it. But her name is Whitney Webb. She's a new one that I've just...
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of it yet.
It's something about darkness of history.
I tell you can watch some things that are just...
let me tell you what, she's where...
she knows a lot of things. I was a little worried
I was a little worried initially because her site looks very
conspiratorial. If y'all just want to be real honest, it gives those vibes. Seems that like most of the things that she does is pretty legit. She makes the connections with all of the people, like how they are connected.
And my thing about it is, and it's two B's in web. She's a journalist. She lives in Chile, but she's the one that I've been writing down names as I hear them of the people because I want them to be somewhere, somehow or other. It's like one of the things that
she hasn't gotten out the corkboard strings and pins.
Oh, but I
yet.
have thought about it. I don't have a wall open. I'll have to take down artwork.
We could put it.
It's not a big enough. Here's the thing.
Web's so big.
Here's the thing. I can remember. I'm really fascinated by the whole thing with the Holocaust because of my family ties to that. Not my side, but Mariah's father's side, the Wilders side. And one of the things that during the war in Paris, when the Nazis were appropriating all the artworks, there was a woman in the Louvre.
Oh, they are for the corkboard and whatnot. They would like to see that.
I know. I just I watched Ari Melber start his corkboard, but I haven't noticed he hasn't been back to it.
Maybe they told him to take it down. I want people like Ari Melber. I want Rachel Maddow. I want all of them to leave these legacy media places and just go, you know what?
He hasn't filled in, and he has a lot of open spaces on his timeline. I can help him fill it in.
You should reach out to him.
I'm going to reach out to him as soon as I do. And I feel like I will be better prepared after I read. Whitney she has 2 volumes. Her book is 2
volumes.
She didn't get it all done in one.
Yeah.
And that should say something to you. But anyway, some of these things early on, she was talking about Goldman Sachs, Bear Stearns, all these big financial lawyery people.
Oh my gosh. So, I think this was the Katie Fang thing. And she was talking about how during Epstein's first, when he got his sweetheart deal and he was able to have the work thing. And so here was the deal. So he had some organization or whatever, and that's where he would go to work every day, or, out of prison. Like, how is that even?
Yes, this was in 2008.
And then
and he was in the county jail. He never went to prison. And we all know county jails are pretty lax and pretty plushy compared to,
the prison.
Yeah.
And then the lawyer guy ended up getting an office in that same building. So every day he would be able
Bruce
to
Reinhardt,
go
Jack Goldberger
with her notes.
And Lily Ann Sanchez was his original lawyer, who she was girlfriend with it was either Reinhardt or Goldberger.
Yeah.
But he actually stayed at their office.
Still has it. Supposedly still has it. Still has an office there.
And all the time he's transferring millions of dollars around hither and yon, and having sex with girls and women and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Calling them in.
It is so bizarre. And then for Kash Patel to sit in front of Congress and say that, oh no, they couldn't find any connections or anything like that. And it's like, well, were you looking?
Are you really, it just makes them look stupid.
But here's the thing. So I don't know.
How does this happen?
We need more people to tell us. I don't know.
I want him to give one of these SOBs a really sweetheart deal so he can rat all the others out.
I don't.
They used to do that back in the olden days.
I wonder about that too. And why can't they connect?
I want Andrew to do that.
There've got to be some really upset women out there. Disgruntled wives. I mean, at this point,
Ghislaine.
We can't believe anything she says.
I don't think you can believe anything she said. But the whole thing is I think she's holding out for that sweetheart deal with, Humpy Trump.
I don't think
she the tie.
She doesn't get anything.
I don't know. I think she's become a liability, and she needs to, have somebody taste her food before she eats it, kind of thing, in her little plushy jail or yeah.
Maybe that's why she wants the dog. She's having the dog taste her food before.
There you go. That makes perfect sense. That makes me sense.
Dislike her even more.
Anyway, the whole thing, this goes back, that 2008.
Oh my gosh. Hey, all right. Now we're just getting into the gossipy part of this. Sorry, y'all. So the fact that he has all of these storage units.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, did anybody win one on Storage Wars or what the frick?
Yeah.
Does somebody out there have
because I can't remember. I don't remember the.
Hey, and they
were like $500 a month. They were huge. We only paid $250. Ours is
not that
size.
Big. It was decent, but they're bigger ones. Let me tell you, they go up each month or every whenever you renew your thing. Yeah, it's kind of a racket because they know you don't want to move your crap.
It is. It really is because they know they've got you by the cojones.
They do.
There's no getting out of that. You can't have any room for it. Okay, here's something I wanted to ask about. One of the things that...
Oh, and they're getting into that, though. And I tell you, the folks, so she said, and the land in New Mexico, they're looking into all that. Oh, yeah, those in New
Mexico. I think that they may be, because they're... I don't know. They're not, like, super wealthy.
I think
New Mexico is a very poor state.
There's so much out at this point. I can't imagine that stuffing it back in. Now, there's going to be folks that always get...
It's kind of like that sleeping bag. I've experienced this where you take it out, and then when you try to get it back into the bag, it just never goes back in the same way. And
so
I'm feeling to buy a bigger bag.
Yeah.
I think those people are looking for a bigger bag.
Oh, they have started searching them?
I want to know if you all are aware of this. One of the things in the big, beautiful bill, one of the budget cuts was in human trafficking and, involving various law enforcement agencies in tracking down this and actually investigating that sort of thing. That budget's been cut down to nada. I mean, it's just there in name.
I think that at this point, though, that so many people on the internet now have access to stuff that it's like, and we've created such a society that absolutely is just so into, true crime and solving crimes. And I mean, they've been watching Law and Order for 30 years now.
I am one of those.
Yes.
I'm very disappointed the system is not working like that.
In 30 minutes, we'd really like this. Kung.
Yeah. Or if it's to be continued, you got 2 episodes.
Yeah, don't draw me out in 3.
We're way past 2. We got to move on this faster. Now, they keep talking about this Alex Acosta.
I know, Anthony.
What is it?
He had people from the Border Patrol on his... And then they knew, the schedules of when they would come in for customs and stuff. And he had, one guy, he'd send him, Christmas gifts and all kinds of crap. Yeah. So it's even further. And, all that's, once you hear it, you're like, I should have thought of that. That totally makes sense. And this is how they get away with these sorts of things. Because you think, all right, where are all of these checkpoints, these things that are supposed to flag the financial stuff? That stuff should have been flagged eons and eons ago. But they were so tied in.
All the Somalis.
Poor people. I just don't understand.
Okay. Yeah. So basically what somebody asked in here, they wanted to know.
We got 15 minutes. About
what actually, who actually got so PO'd at Jeffrey that they said, okay, this dude, we got to do something here.
Yeah.
Because it had to happen from one of those
Oh, in the 2008 thing. Oh yeah, somebody got he ruffled some feathers, did something.
He ruffled some feathers there. Now he still got a sweetheart deal there and whatnot, and everybody knew it was still going on.
And then so many of those folks working to rebuild his image.
Yeah, this is where Noam Chomsky talked to him about that, and I'm just like, I don't know. And then actually, okay, so this is the new little girl. She's she's really cute. I can't remember her name.
She running for Congress?
She's black. Oh. No, she has a I don't know, one of those things you talked about. Anyway, I will get her name because she looks really cute. She's got a pink light behind her and some cutesy things on the wall and whatnot. But what she says is not
cute.
Cutesy. She asks really poignant.
I think I know who you're talking about. I've come across her a couple of times. Yeah,
because she's the one that, and I love how she presents her information. She shows you, she talks about it, and then she goes over here in a big thing so you can read it. But her little face is right over here. I love that. And she was talking about this letter that Valeria Chomsky, Noam's wife, he's incapacitated. I think he's still alive, but he's like a vegetable.
Oh,
he had
really?
A stroke. Yeah.
Oh.
He's no longer mentally with us. But wrote this letter of apology, claiming that they knew nothing. But that's BS because Noam actually said he gave him advice on how to clear up and make his reputation.
Well, I think that's what's so wonderful, but also, that all of this information comes out and they haven't packaged it in any kind of timeline kind of thing, but it's starting to get that way. Like everybody that's putting these things together, a lot of them are creating spreadsheets and documentation, and then being able to put the timeline together and then making those conversations come together. Because one email by itself, you don't have the context or understand, okay, well, what was he referring to, or what, and this is why people are saying, hey, some of these other things are missing, or, oh, they did actually interview some of these people, but this stuff is missing.
It was intentional. They mixed those all up. They just threw them up in the air and said, okay, somebody go pick all those up and, whatever. That there's no cohesiveness. There's no chronological order to that order has to be imposed by people reading them and putting them together on their own.
Oh, Graham, Graham says working with transitional age youth, 16 to 24, especially survivors of trafficking. He's seen a real drop in accessible funding and services in recent years, including in San Francisco. Are there organizations, or can you put that in chat, like some places that people could go and look, and if they do want to donate? Because these are the things that we always like to talk about and like bring around. All right, hey, here's some actionable items. I know a lot of times it really is, hey, these folks could use a donation. But sometimes that is all that we can give. Sometimes that's what we do. We give to the different places because we don't know what else to do.
Yes.
But they that's what they need, is they need the funding because they have the people. They just don't always necessarily have the full on resources to put, either more people and get the right people doing the thing that needs to be done.
And the best way to do that, even if you have a small amount, is to do it monthly. Because then they can work that into their budget.
And that way they can...
really important. That's what I do with ACLU, Southern Poverty Law, and the...
donating to the food banks, too. That is bigger because their $1 for them goes much further than us bringing in food. That is a huge thing that is going on right now. I couldn't even watch it the other day. I guess a lady called into like C-SPAN or something like that. I just saw a little clip of it. I'm like, nope, can't handle that. That's gonna totally crash me out. But basically it was that, elderly folks are not able to get the food nutrition things that they normally have been. So the food banks and anybody that can help take care of people at that level is greatly, greatly needed and appreciated. I know here locally, Minnie's Food Pantry is one that we have donated to. And then that's one of the ones that Evan, hopefully who will be our new congressman, they have a good connection with as well. Because they're just good people.
They are good people. And let me tell you, I still feel like I'm not doing enough when I do, do that. And instead of, right now, I will donate to a specific candidate. I am not donating to the Democratic Party because you know what? Those SOBs just, they don't put it.
Well, and then what they'll do is
I don't have a choice about where they put it.
Right.
I want a choice. I want to decide which candidate I'm going to. I don't need somebody somewhere deciding for me.
Amen, sister. Mm-hmm.
There.
It is insane, Eddie. And this is kind of goes back to where P was at the very beginning and might be a really good transition for us to kind of wrap up things here. But yes, as the wealthiest nation in the world, it is insane. Yet the vast farmlands and things that we have at our disposal just here in the U.S. and we have hungry people. It is flippin' ridiculous.
It absolutely is. And I can't remember what commentator I was watching, and he says, well, what exactly are unalienable rights? And he felt like healthcare was not one of them.
Bust out my little Constitution, and then let's talk about what Bill Nye said.
Oh. Hey, did you know that science is in the Constitution?
And art?
Yes.
Right there in the same...
Right in the same thing.
Now, it was
Section 7
now it was
of...
No, Section 8 and... it's
Article 1. It's under Article 1, Section 8. And it is to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive rights to their respective writings and discoveries. So there we go.
Bill Nye likes to, and it was really funny because he was actually, at the Hill talking to people the day that he had the conversation with Steve Burns. I'm telling y'all, check Steve Burns out with his, the Bill Nye one and the Adam Savage one are my two favorites.
We're going to talk. I have a whole section on that. And
okay.
It's from Catherine, and I just felt
Catherine hooked us up. We do need to give her a shout out.
Izzy wants to move to Australia. I'm ready to go after reading this article. If this is how their education system works, that's what the education I want for my granddaughter. So, Catherine, thank you for sending that. But also, I kind of related your article to the one that Mariah had me watch, which was Adam Savage.
That was the one she sent me.
Critical.
Well, no, she sent me Bill Nye. And then I saw that he was talking to Adam Savage, and I'm like, y'all know I love Adam Savage.
Absolutely. And then we get into critical thinking with Steve Burns and Bill Nye. And I just, this is the kind of stuff.
It's a logical continuum.
A logical continuum. It absolutely is. And folks, the universe is knowable.
All right, now I'm waiting for Graham to come back so he can put in that. Well, you won't be able to put a link in, but put at least the organization or whomever might be the best to donate to. Any which way, we love to be able to shout out some people each and every time and get actionable dollars out there. I think that's the way to look at it. Your artivism can be driven by those small dollar donations to things that you may just feel like, it's my $5. Does that matter? It does.
It does matter.
Each and every time.
Each and every time. And it's just like voting. Somebody that says, my vote one vote's not going to count. Well, what if everybody thought that way?
In fact, there are very many races that get decided in a matter of,
like double digits. Yeah.
Now, here, what's crazy, I think, not last cycle, maybe the cycle before, there was some, I think, like a city council or something like that for Murphy, which is just the city like right next to us. But it was decided by like one vote on a rerun.
Wow. So, don't use that as an excuse for not voting. Get your stuff out there. We've already voted. I am really upset because I did not get a sticker.
I know. I'm sorry about that. Well, there were those one people that were kind of in the, like, right there at the end, and they were sort of blocking up the table where the stickers was at. I sort of just kind of went in and I got my sticker. And I don't know.
Picture. I was saying something to the dude.
Yes, Anthony,
gave me my pen.
I agree with the whole ranked choice voting thing. They did that in Alaska, or do that in Alaska.
What?
Ranked choice voting.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, so maybe they weren't doing it then, but I think that one, the lady that is just a congressman.
Lisa Murkowski?
No, not her. Maybe she's a senator.
I don't know.
Murkowski is a senator.
Yes.
Okay, no, this is a congressperson, lady, and she's indigenous.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Now I don't know what her name is.
But that was done and one of the reasons she won is because of the ranked choice voting.
Well, the whole thing in Alaska is you have to have mail-in ballots because you have people that live out.
Wonderful.
2, 3, 4 hours away, or they have to fly out, or they have to boat out. It's not logical that you can have them come to a polling place.
Yeah.
So that's a special circumstance.
Yes, Patola is her name. I tell you, Anthony knows all things. Okay, Graham is going to say Polaris operates the national hotline and works to dispute trafficking networks. All right, cool. So y'all go check that out. I think that's a great one to learn more about and help out any way that you can with all of that. I feel better. Now we got to go get some things worked out as far as giveaways. Tomorrow will be a big old day over there at PM Artist Studio because it's, new products. We're going to talk about, hopefully, because we will have packaged up. Like, I'm not letting her go to bed tonight. Giveaways are going to be packaged, so we will know how many giveaways that are going to be done. I have already begun the hard work of IMPP packets, so those will be available tomorrow.
Hey, I made all those pups papers over there.
Okay, well, there we go. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Once again, this ends our third caw.
And really, the next one I do, and it just depends because I hate to say anything. You never know what's going to go on. I am going to keep reading this book and plugging in what Tom Hartman, please go watch him. He has lots of content. and hang in there with him.
I know that we sent you, but don't tell him that Mariah's not too much into him.
Yeah.
Tell him P really likes him.
Yes, you can say that you heard about us at PM Artists.
No, at CAW.
At CAW. Yeah, don't forget, we're not
Creative Artivists Work.
Absolutely. And, maybe we'll be on with Tom one of these days. I'm not ready to be
Oh,
on.
I love that. Anthony says, caw, the crows are gathering.
That's right.
That's right. All right, my friends.
And
we'll see you around.
We're smart birds.
Bye.
Caw.